And there we go, one OSB bench, really simply made with about 3 to 4 sheets of OSB and 4 caster wheels. Probably cost me no more than £80 to make. Hello everyone, welcome to the London Craftsman channel. Thanks for watching. Today's video is all about making an OSB bench. Okay, this thing is going to be super simple. It's going to be butt joints and screwed. It's going to be really easy for you guys to follow and make one yourself. OSB is a very cheap and durable material. It looks quite cool for a workshop. It hides the dirt because it's all patterns, pencil marks on it, stuff like that. It's the perfect material. These are the machines, okay, really small and diddy. I tried to get them as small as possible. It's going to live just here. It's going up against this OSB door to the end of this column here, which is 1.4, and it's only coming out 500. It's going to be on wheels and it's going to be 900mm high. It's going to be the same height as my bench. I ummed whether to use birch ply, but it's just too much hassle, too much money. And over this side, it's more OSB anyway, because you've got OSB here, 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 here. So we're going to be building it to live here. And then we're going to take the extraction off the cyclone system that serves, there's a cyclone at the back there, and a hoover that serves the CNC. So then we can just have that hose serving these 3 machines. So we've got 3 sheets of 18mm OSB, 2 here and 1 here, and we got a sheet of 9 for the backing. Everything's going to be OSB, 4 casters. Yeah, let's clear this off and start cutting some materials up. For now, just running through a few bits. So 3m track, 1.4 track, 700 track. These all work on the parallel guides and the track saw square. This just for marking out and just marking on my lines. Otherwise, I might just freestyle it, tape measure, mark, cut. Want this to be as quick as possible. We've got the Makita plunge saw, a couple of drills, 3mm drill bit, Phillips bit, pencil, tape, and then coming over here, I generally use 10s, 30s, 50s, 20s, and we got some shelf pegs and hinges. We're not going to be using these hinges. It's just an example of the type of hinges we're going to be using. 30s for screwing on the backing. We're screwing the carcasses, the cabinet together. 50s. Again, we're going to be using the 3mm drill bit to pilot everything. We're not just going to bang a screw straight in. And we use 20s for the hinges, so screwing them onto the door and the carcass. Pins for the 4 adjustable shelves we've got within the cabinets. Basically, we've got a box with a division. They're going to get screwed together. Then we've got a side panel to hide all the end grains, because as you can see, the tops and the bottoms run through, so the side panel kind of frames it either side. And then we've got a top that goes on, adjustable shelf in each one. 1 sheet, 2 sheets, 3 sheets, full sheet being used. And then we've got this and this. Well, I might just cut these. I've got some offcuts of OSB, so that might come out of an offcut, and I'll just get a rip and just have that left over. Plan of action, cut that rip there. Cut that rip, cut that rip, and then we can start chopping up all the offcuts and all the slices. Right, so that's an example of a rip. Okay, so we've got our piece here, 748 wide. Don't need the long track anymore, nor this offcut for the sake of the video. So now we're just going to do the cross cuts, and we're going to use the track saw square with the 1.4m track. The smaller track isn't big enough, and we've got the perfect piece here to support the other end. So we're going to get that set up and do our cross cuts. Slide it on as much as you can. The more you slide it on, the more it's balanced and not one-sided. Clip that on, make sure that's nice and tight. We're at 0 at the moment on the gauge. We've done that long rip, so now I'm just going to be slicing them up into 460mm pieces, okay? So I'm just going to mark with the pencil 460, slice, and do that for the rest. And that's what I'm going to do for everything. So we've got 460, mark that in. You can always put a little arrow. I like to put a little flick like that, so the pencil mark doesn't blend in with the OSB pattern. Put this edge up against the workpiece, then we're going to slide it squarely until the front rubber of our track finds the pencil line. $460. That's all the cutting done, didn't take long, took me about an hour using the guides and the square. So we got all the 18mm components there, and then we've got the backing there, and that is everything ready to machine. So these are the components that need machining. We've got the doors, adjustable shelves, one short, need to get one out of an offcut, and then we've got the tops and bottoms, and then we've got the sides and divisions. So we've got top, bottom, two carcasses, obviously number one, number two, arrows facing to the front, and then we've got arrows pointing to the inside, arrow down, arrow up, that's one set, that's another set. Screw line and our biscuit line and our screw line, and then we come to the front here, and that's the division, so we're going to square that across the face when we come to machine. 50, 100, and then 50 and 100, so that's the screw, biscuit, screw. Set the stopper at number 10 because we're using number 10 biscuits. Now let's go ahead and pre-drill the holes. So we're going to be following these lines here. We've got a pre-drill here and a pre-drill here. I'm actually going to go center. I've not drawn it on, but we're going to go center there and center and center just to add a little bit more strength. 3mm drill bit. We've done this face. Now we're going to go ahead and do this face because that's the bottom. So there we have it, we've got a pair. So if I lift it up, you can see the biscuit slots, both, they line up. Let's describe to you how this is going to work on the uprights. Okay, so let's move the top away. And then let's just imagine that as division. So remember, we went from the right-hand side of the two lines. Okay, so our biscuiter went here. When it comes to machining with the biscuiter again, we need to flip this down. We need to lock it like so. And then this face is going to be on this face here. And that way, the two biscuit lines at the bottom and on the face are going to line up. So this face with this line. Sides are a little bit easier because we had the biscuiter on lined up with that edge, and then we flipped the biscuiter around and we lined up with that edge. Basically, wherever there's a side, we're going to biscuit from that face, and then when we have a side here, we're going to biscuit from that face. So that is all the biscuiting done on all the sides and divisions. Let's go ahead and pre-drill some holes for some adjustable shelves. Got them all as a pack here, top, bottom, front. All I really need to do is square them all up like so. So I'm just going to put a central line here, and then I can square them across every time I machine. I've got myself a little template. All I'm going to do is flip it around. Okay, this is the bottom. I'm going to use the bottom of the template. We generally come in 30mm for a hole for a shelf peg. So I'm going to line up to the bottom, clamp it, do maybe 3 or 4 holes, pre-drill with a 5mm bit, flip it over. Going to then use that edge to do the same on the back face. Again, line at the bottom, line it here, pre-drill the same amount of holes. And I'm going to do that on every face that needs doing for all the adjustable shelves. Right, we always use this drill bit, okay, so it just allows for a 6mm template, and then it goes in about 10mm. Just got a bit of masking tape there, you can use anything you like. I'm going to put that in, it's 5mm in diameter, a couple of clicks, and that's not going to go anywhere there because I can just hold it with my hand and just pre-drill. And then release. Again, we're going to flip this over now. Line up at the bottom, line it with this edge now. It's only one face for the sides, but for the division, it's both faces. Let's move on to the doors. So that is the last bit of machining we have left to do. 3mm gap in between each one. I'm just overdoing it here so you can see. So we've got a pair and a pair. So obviously it's going to open like so and open like so. So we're going to be hinging on this side and hinging this side and this side, but on the other face. So maybe if I just mark at the bottom of the door, 1, 2, 3, 4, arrow facing up, arrow facing to the hinge, and then I know what door's what when it comes to hinge. Just 2 hinges on this, 100 up, 100 down. I'm going to use a jig, show you that jig in a moment, but I've also got other videos of this jig. So we'll do one, and then you can have a look at the other video. There we go, all marked out. Let's just give you one example. Number 4. Number 4 is marked at the bottom, arrow up to the face, hinge on that edge, okay, and that's all I need. I can flip it over, I know I'm going to do that back face. Right, so I've got my door here, I've got H here, which means this is the edge that I'm going to be hinging, but it's the back face. So I'm going to come up 100 and down 100, whatever way you want to call it. So 100 and 100. Right, so line there. We simply get the jig. It's in 2 pieces. That one there just clips on. You've got an arrow there and an arrow there. We're just going to line that up with our pencil line. Click it closed. And then we'll use that later for pre-drilling. But this part here clips in and it's got the hinge cutter all plugged in, ready to go. That just simply clicks in like so. And we've already got the stopper set. Done. That's one done. Before we take that off, remember you can use a hoover. We're going to put that in, but it's back to front on this particular jig. We're going for these 2 holes, the 45mm apart. For some reason, it's back to front. So that goes in there. We're going to use a 1mm drill bit or a 1.5. There it is, 1.5. Simply just pre-drill. And that's the machining done. Right, so with the machining done, all that's left to do is sand it up. I don't necessarily have to. It's OSB, it's rustic, but I'm just going to give them a 240 on the faces and on the edges and take the sharp corners off. Let's just do one, and then you can just assume you've seen them all. And by the way, these are my new favourite little things. They are from Trend. They're called lock blocks, and they're silicone rubber on both sides. You can just plonk them on like so, anywhere you like, and you don't need clamps. That way you can just grab yourself a piece of material, plonk it on, and it's not going to go anywhere at all. Give it a sand, do what you want. To make your life a little bit easier, you can use a 1.6mm radius cutter. It's got a tiny round on that, okay? I'll use this for literally everything, all day, every day of the week working here. And we're just going to simply just take those arises off with this. So much easier. Now a quick whiz for the sander. The sharp corners off. Depends how far you want to go. Be careful of splinters for this stuff. It's pretty lethal. And yeah, that is one component done. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest. Not many to do. Take me half an hour and we can start assembling. So happy to say it's all built, but the downside is I didn't get a chance to film it. We were out on site for a long time and I didn't have any time to film. Let's go over a few details. I'll show you how exactly I assembled this thing. Take one door off and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. You can see the full construction. So the top and the bottom run all the way through and the sides are in between. So the sides have a 25mm overhang and so does the top, and what that does is it allows the door to sit within that gap and still have a 5mm overhang all the way around. The side panel also hides the end grain of the carcass, and then the top gives the same effect. It covers the end grain of the side panel and it consolidates everything. It makes everything double thickness and gives the carcass a whole lot more strength. These 2 carcasses are screwed together in the center, but I decided to make the backing one full backing. So I assembled that carcass and that carcass without a backing, and then I joined the carcasses and then I put the backing on the whole unit. We have a look around the back, you can see one full-size backing, and that is a huge amount of structure for this unit. As you can see, we've got heavy machines on here, okay, and I also have a step. So my last set of casters are below that division. I couldn't have it there or any further because it wouldn't work. This had to be really structural and really strong, hence the reason I put the backing over both carcasses. There are only 4 casters, because if there was 6, they'd probably work against each other. So we've got 2 over there and 2 there. Make sure that you put your caster wheels where there is a division or a side. All the doors are on soft close GTV hinges, full overlay because they overlay the carcass fully. The hinges are also clip on, clip off. The machines are powered via one extension lead. That extension lead there is plugged into the wall at the back. There we go, it's plugged into the wall. Overall, it works really, really well. I've been using it for my CNC quite a lot recently. Been making lots of platters, cheese boards, candle holders, bath trays, handles, and these tools are an absolute dream. So I've got a wet grinding wheel and I've got a pillar drill, no space here. So what I have here is a pull-up shelf, and it's really, really handy to have. So I can just plonk anything on there. And there we go. One OSB bench, really simply made with about 3 to 4 sheets of OSB and 4 caster wheels. Probably cost me no more than £80 to make. And that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like my unit. Let me know what you think. Other than that, guys, have a great Friday. Hopefully I will see you next Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. So thanks very much. Take it easy. Ciao for now.